Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to a live and interactive session. You are watching us on PME Vidya, channel number 7 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. This session is meant for our young learners of class 7 and the subject that we are taking up is English. We are going to learn about Unit 2 from your textbook and the chapter's title is Animal, Birds and Dr. Dolittle. Well, we have heard of Dr. Dolittle, but what kind of personality he actually was? Well, let's try to learn more about him through this session, through this chapter. And if you have questions, any curiosity, anything more that you want to know about the chapter, you can definitely get in touch with us. Our phone number is 8800440559. Our email ID is dth.class7@ciet.nic.in. And on our YouTube handle NCERT Official also, you can tell us what exactly you want to know. So for this session, I am joined by, of course, by my guest, and he is looking quite interesting today. So let's meet him. We have with us Dr. Amit Ranjan, Assistant Professor from CIET. Sir, namaskar and very warm welcome to the session. And we both are accompanied by our Indian Sign Language interpreter, Miss Anushka Sharma. Anushka, namaskar and very warm welcome to you too. By the way, you look really interesting today, and what's hanging around your neck?
It's not what, it's who.
It's who? So who's hanging around your neck?
This is the Right Honorable KB Con, Dr. Albatross.
Dr. Albatross.
Yes. Hello.
Okay. Wow. So he also makes sound.
Of course, he talks.
But what is he doing in the story in the session today?
He's come all the way from Siberia and Miami to tell you that Dr. Dolittle is the goat of all doctors.
Goat. Goat means the goat?
Greatest of all time,
Greatest
GOAT.
of all times. Okay.
Like it originates from the world of tennis, where Novak Djokovic is known as the GOAT. But
wow.
Dr. Dolittle is the goat of all doctors.
All
And
doctors.
Dr. Albatross is the goat of all doctors.
Doctor, what is the difference between a doctor and a doctor?
The spelling DUCKTOR is a Dr. Albatross.
So Dr. Albatross is a guest also,
Yes.
and he's a foreigner. So I welcome him.
No, he's not a foreigner. He lives on the ocean.
Oh, but he has come from Siberia, you just now said.
He's made a journey from Siberia to Miami to...
Wow, all the way to India and to our studios of CIET NCERT.
Absolutely.
So what are we going to learn about Dr. Dolittle and Dr. Albatross, by the way?
First of all, Dr. Albatross. So, albatross around the neck is a phrase, an idiom in English, which originates from Samuel Taylor Coleridge's 1798 poem called The Rime of an Ancient Mariner, where the mariner kills an albatross, and a dead albatross then hangs on his neck, which is why his neck is long, hanging around the neck. So this is now a phrase, an idiom in English, which means a heavy burden on your shoulder because you have committed something wrong, a sin. So we shouldn't do things that are wrong in life. They'll hang on our shoulders all our life. That's one of the messages of Dr. Albatross.
Some burden on the shoulders. Wow.
Actually, this is an anomaly because albatross's neck is actually not long. So it's a misnomer which has originated from that poem of Samuel Taylor Coleridge, because you think that if there's something around your neck, the neck of the bird should be long. It was just hanging. What is long in an albatross is the wingspan. It's 12 feet. So 6 feet on this side, almost a human size, and 6 feet on the other side. And an albatross lives almost completely on the ocean, flies over the ocean. It's so capable of flying. And it comes to the side only to breed. Otherwise, it just lives over the water.
Wow.
Lonely life.
Lonely life.
On a lonely planet.
I remember, learning or I think reading a poem during my school days. Water, water everywhere was a very common line. And there I think I learnt about Dr. Albatross. Okay.
Right.
So now let's move on with Dr. Dolittle.
Sure. So the connection of Dr. Albatross with Dr. Dolittle is that Dr. Dolittle was a doctor of animals and birds, and his fame spread wide in the world because of the birds who carried his message.
Wow.
From where he was. So we'll come to that, the whole story. This is Dr. Dolittle by Hugh Lofting, who is a famous author during early 20th century. Hugh Lofting suffered a lot during the First World War. and that's when he developed this deep empathy for animals. Thought that human beings are eminently inane and stupid, and it's animals who are intelligent, which is what many philosophers have thought. There's somebody called Schopenhauer, a German philosopher, who also thought human beings are useless, so he started living with cats and dogs all his life, and he used to swear by the Upanishads, which he had read in Darashiko's translation.
Wow.
Anyway, so there are many more people who were great lovers of animals and believed that animals are deeply wise and philosophical.
Loyal.
Loyal and all that, these are material qualities, spiritual, philosophical.
Wow.
They drew their inspiration, their muse from animals.
Lovely.
And so is Dr. Dolittle. It inspires us to love animals, to communicate with them, to have empathy with them. Okay, so let's look at Hugh Lofting first of all, a British author, also a civil engineer, because of which he had to spend time in the First World War. And he was deeply disturbed, especially in the First World War, by the suffering of the war horses. His horses were still used till First World War, because so many horses died or became lame or were injured that he developed deep empathy towards the animals. So he wrote illustrated letters to his children. So he wrote letters to his children, drew drawings about a kind doctor who could talk to animals, and which became the story of Dr. Dolittle in 1920. So this is not just one book, it achieved great success. So it's a series of 12 books. And now that these books are out of copyright, because Hugh Lofting died in 1947, and it takes about 60 years for it to be copyright free. Now there's a spate of movies and reinterpretations. There's a Japanese book also about Dr. Dolittle.
Okay.
So this is the image on your left is the original image of the first Dr. Dolittle book, and you can see the other characters in the circles, and everything else is animals. There's horse, there's cats, there's pigs, crocodile, and on the right is a wonderful movie in which Eddie Murphy played Dr. Dolittle in 1998. There are 3 movies, one in 1967 by Rex Harrison, in which Rex Harrison plays Dr. Dolittle, and very recently Robert Downey Jr. So you should check out all these movies. So like I just said, there are 12 books, and these books are about kindness, empathy, understanding between humans and animals, the movies that I just told you. And so it's had a huge cultural impact across the world, where this popularized the idea of talking to animals and having respect and empathy for animals. And the inspiration behind all of this is a real person called John Hunter, who lived between 1728 and 1793. And he's also known as the father of surgery.
Wow.
Because he had a menagerie. So menagerie, the spelling is M-E-N-A-G-E-R-I-E, it's a French word which means a collection of animals. So he had zebras, buffaloes, alligators, whatnot, because he wanted to study their anatomy. Anatomy is the study of the body, how your muscles and your bones are placed, what the structure of the body is. So he had an intense hands-on curiosity about all animals, making him a real-life model for this fictional character, Dr. Dolittle. So the world of surgery owes a lot to John Hunter. He figured out how the human anatomy is.
And he could talk to animals?
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Of course, all these people talk to animals. Then there's another very interesting character called Louis Wain, and he is also a British artist and known for his anthropomorphic means human-like drawings of cats. He was obsessed with cats, a very fine painter. So just as Dolittle talks to animals, Wain also helped people see animals very differently, mostly cats.
But so what is human-like drawings of cats?
The cats are playing violin, they're shooting guns, doing trapeze and so on. So his charming illustration of cats in clothes and human situations transformed how people viewed pets. from utility animals to beloved companions as we know them today.
Yes.
So there's a lot of backstories to how we things we do in life, like the albatross around neck, which we don't know. It's
Yes.
fun to know these backstories.
Lovely.
So there's a wonderful movie called The Electric Life of Louis Wain also.
Wow.
That's Louis Wain, and that's one of his cat paintings.
Human-like
And
drawings.
later in his life, he started drawing psychedelic cats, which is also fascinating. So this is
Okay.
also a task for you students to figure out the various stages of Louis Wain's cat paintings. Maybe make some cat paintings of your own.
Wow.
Okay, so let us get to the story itself that we have in our textbook. So we get introduced to Dr. John Dolittle, who is a people's doctor, but he loves animals. And he has a set of friends. There are 3 or 4 human characters also in the story. So the names are very interesting. The name Dolittle itself, Dolittle. So he does little things for animals, and that becomes a big gesture towards the planet, big gesture towards humanity as well. So one of his friends is Cat's Food Man, and his wife is Theodosia.
Okay.
Theodosia in Greek means God's gift.
Okay.
What's the God's gift? That she reads a lot.
Wow.
So she reads stories to Cat's Food Man, and he figures out that Dr. Dolittle should talk to animals.
And Cat's Food Man is the name, or
Yeah.
he's providing food for the cats?
No, that's the name.
Okay.
That's how he's named.
Okay.
So also shows that cat is one of the most mysterious animals to all the writers. So Cat's Food Man's wife tells him to suggest to Dr. Dolittle to become an animal doctor. So Cat's Food Man says that human beings don't appreciate that you are the greatest doctor of all time, that you are the goat. So you may as well start treating goats. And then he has a parrot called Polynesia.
Okay.
Now, Polynesia is also a fascinating name. So as you can see, all the names suggest the qualities. A polyglot is somebody who can speak various languages.
Yeah.
And the parrot is named Polynesia after being polyglot.
Okay.
And Polynesia itself is a group of islands in Oceania near Australia, which is pristine, beautiful islands. And you should also check out on a map where Polynesia is. Anyway,
Yeah.
in the story, the parrot Polynesia overhears all this conversation and strongly agrees that Dr. Dolittle should become an animal doctor. And he says, but first you need to understand the language of parrots.
Yeah.
You don't understand my language. So Dr. Dolittle says, no, but I do understand what you say. So Polynesia says, oh well. Then he goes kiki, koko, kaka, and he says, did you understand? Dr. Dolittle says, no, I didn't. And then he explains it in the parrot language. And he says that if I talk to you in my language, you will not understand. I'm
Yeah.
smarter than you. I know the human language as well. So you better understand the parrot
Parrot
language.
language, a bird's language.
So then Polynesia says that it's not just the parrot language that he knows, but he knows all languages of all animals. So he says, for example, he knows dog's language. And animals need not always make sounds to produce meaning. Like we make sounds, we use words to produce meaning.
Yes.
Animals do it largely by gestures. We also do things by gestures, by
True.
silence. But animals do a lot of things. So he shows a dog twitching his nose and he asks Dr. Dolittle, do you know what it means? And Dr. Dolittle says, I don't. Then he says, oh well, he's saying that it stopped raining outside, isn't it?
Wow.
So Polynesia the parrot gradually teaches Dr. Dolittle the languages of various animals, and Dr. Dolittle, who does little but is a great learner, becomes an expert very soon on animal languages. And this message spreads far and wide, and everybody starts bringing their animals. So we've covered this part. So the first patient that is brought to him is a plough horse. A plough horse means a horse that is used to plough the fields. Now he is able to talk in the horse's language. So the horse tells him that the other doctor who he was taken to did not know anything He kept giving him pills but could not understand that his eye was getting weak, his eyesight was getting weak. And he said that, now that you understand, can you give me glasses? So Dr. Dolittle said, yeah, sure, I can give you glasses, and come after a week. And the horse also mentions the specific shade. He says, I want green glasses.
Green glasses,
So
why?
that the sun's rays do not get into his eyes very strongly during the day.
Okay.
So a week later, the horse gets his glasses, and the horse also tells Dr. Dolittle that you are the best doctor, because the best doctor is somebody who understands the patient well, which is also a message to the doctors,
Yes.
that they should not be arrogant and vain, they should be humble, and they should listen to their patients with empathy, and a patient is always right, whatever their gut feeling is, and a doctor should investigate. So that is what Dr. Dolittle did, dive deep into what the horse wanted to say and got him his glasses. And after that, there are no blind horses, as
Wow.
the story tells. After that,
He treated them all.
he treated them all, and then it became a trend. So the simple solution works perfectly, providing the value of understanding human language.
Only then you can diagnose the correct illness also.
Yeah, you have to listen to what the patient is
Yeah.
saying. So anyway, the metaphorical meaning, the hidden meaning, or the broad messaging of this story is that animals, though they do not speak our language, and they seem to have a limited range of voice, they have a lot to say, and if we develop empathy and understanding towards
Yes.
them, we will be able to figure out their sign language, their gestures,
True.
what they want to say.
Yeah.
So it's always about trying to understand others and not imposing our own thoughts on them. So then the word spread quickly. Word spreading quickly meaning that the fame of Dr. Dolittle grew, and all kinds of creatures. So mice is the plural of mouse. Badger is a very strong, sturdy animal with the face of a rat and the tail of a cat, a civet cat, for example.
Wow.
Cows, they all started coming to his house, and he had to build different doors for different
As
animals.
per their sizes.
As per their sizes. So the mouses had small tunnels, horses had a big gate, and so on. So he builds, all this happens in the story. And then the birds carry his fame to the other countries, which is where our friend
Dr. Albatross
Dr. Albatross
learnt
comes.
about.
He spends, as you learnt, all his time over the ocean.
Wow.
So he flew from Britain to Russia, then to America, and then to India to spread the fame of Dr. Dolittle.
Dolittle.
That's what he's been doing for the past 100 years, telling everybody that Dr. Dolittle is the goat of doctors, but he is the goat of doctors.
Doctors.
So Dr. Dolittle becomes famous amongst the animals all over the world, and finally he found his true calling. And so let's look at the words in the chapter. Veterinarian, popularly known as vet, as doctor for animals. A scholar, the word scholar is derived from school, a place of learning. So somebody who is a very learned person is a scholar. Twitching is making quick, light movement. Dr. Dolittle wants to learn birds' ABC, which basically means the bird's alphabet or the language of birds. Spectacles, as you know, are eyeglasses. The spectacle is a very interesting word. When you remove the S, spectacles is of course the glasses. When it's a spectacle, it merely means tamasha. Something, some big scene that is. So spec is related to seeing. So all the words with spec are related to seeing. For example, inspect, suspect, prospect, respect.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how. Inspect, look into.
Look into, yes.
Suspect, look under.
Oh, yes.
Like you go to a mall and your car is looked under with a mirror.
Yes.
Because it's suspected that you may be hiding something. Prospect. Prospect means something, possibility in the future.
Possibility, yeah.
The prefix pro means in the future, looking into the future, prospect.
Yes.
And so on. Even a word like respect, which you don't think is about seeing.
Yeah.
Re is again and spect is to see. So to see again, somebody who you want to meet again, somebody who you want to look at again, you look up to, you want to meet again and again. That is
Yes.
what respect is.
Wow.
Somebody who is beloved.
Never knew about it.
The opposite of it should be despect, but that word doesn't exist. It is an archaic word. Somebody you don't want to see at all. Somebody you
Despect.
hate, despise. So it has become
Oh, yes.
despise,
Despise.
despicable, despise, and so on. So find out more words with the root spec. It's a Latin root. The Greek root, on the other hand, is orama. So you have words like panorama. Pan means everything. So panorama means a picture which has everything.
Yeah, 360-degree view kind of a picture.
Yeah. All right. Other two words that are noteworthy in this chapter are cellar, which is an underground room for a storage, countryside, which is a rural area outside of the cities. Country Roads Take Me Home is a very
Yes,
popular
by John
song
Denver.
by John Denver.
Okay.
All right. So in the little time that we have left, let us discuss important questions.
Yes.
So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Why was the cat food man's suggestion more effective than if Polynesia had made the suggestion first?
Because I think his wife was reading a lot and telling him about Dr. Dolittle.
I think this is about till then Dr. Dolittle did not value animal advice or bird advice as much as he followed
yes,
human
that can
advice.
be another point of view, right?
So he gets to learn after this. After cat food man tells him, he learns from Polynesia how wise and smart and intelligent birds are. Till then he didn't know. He just loved them like we love our pets, but he did not know how intelligent
Yes, birds
Polynesia is. Okay. What are the two main ways animals communicate according to Polynesia?
Birds language or animal language and human language.
No, Polynesia says, yes, you're right, but additionally Polynesia says that they communicate through non-verbal signs.
Yes,
as well.
gestures also you said, yeah.
And which is very important for us to understand in human life also, that we appreciate and understand silence. There are many times we grow silent if we are oppressed or if we are angry, and there are many kinds of body languages that we should appreciate and understand.
Like we have sign language also.
Sign language also, absolutely, which is on our
at
colleague
the
with us on our screen. But the message that Dr. Dolittle and Hugh Lofting is giving over here is that we have to develop that deep understanding and empathy towards animals, try and understand their gestures when they are hungry or angry, when you should not bother them.
Yeah, when
there are
they're
many cases
aggressive.
of dog bites or things where people deliberately go and tease them when they should not. So we should be appreciative of their space and their body language
Yes.
as well. That is what Polynesia tells him, that do not just pay heed to the sounds they are making, but also their gestures. A cat's tail, or a dog's tail, it wags its tail. You have to understand
wagging tail or twitching, as you said.
what it means.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question: how does the story of the plough horse prove that it takes a cleverer man to be an animal doctor?
Because you have to be wise enough to understand the gestures and the language and to diagnose the correct problem. Early doctor couldn't.
Yeah. So, and the horse himself says very clearly that that you have to understand what the problem is, and nobody was able to understand his problem. So it's easy to understand human problems because human beings can tell what their problems are. Animals cannot tell. So you have to have that extra sixth sense to be able to understand animals. And that sixth sense is empathy, which we should have towards everyone, human beings and animals, and then it will be a much better world to live in. Okay, the next question. What is the main theme about communication and empathy in this story?
I think it's all about understanding the other's pain and emotions and the place the person or the animal is coming from in order to give the best possible solution.
Exactly. And the point that this chapter, on all these stories, the set of 12 stories of Dr. Dolittle suggest, is that a very important part of communication for a long time we have misconstrued, misinterpreted communication as information.
Yeah.
That only exchange of information is communication. But what these stories suggest to us and tell us that it's not just exchange of information, but it's exchange of emotions, it's
Yes.
exchange of empathy. If we are kind towards each other, we are more likely to help each other than if we are hostile to each other. So, empathy or emotional quotient is very important to communication skills, is something that we should learn in the 21st century, the age of hustle and bustle. And finally, the last question which I leave to our dear friends.
Yeah.
If you could talk to animals, what is the one question you would ask your pet or wild animal? Write it down.
I'm sure.
If you ask me that question,
Yeah.
I would ask my best friend, the Right Honorable KB Con, Dr. Albatross, what songs he sings over the lonely ocean.
Oh wow! So I mean, you're really fond of animals and birds.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have this curiosity.
What
to
would
know
your
them well.
question be to your favorite animal if you had to ask a question?
Well, why can't you stay disciplined all the time and not bark on others unnecessarily?
Okay,
You're
that's a
making
good
them
question. It's a great question. Okay,
Yeah.
so pay attention to these questions, and there are other exercises in our book. Look at them, watch the Dr. Dolittle movies, read all the 12 books from your library, and get back to us.
Absolutely. This has been a very important session where we learned the importance of communication, its true
The
meaning,
most important
its
thing
essence.
that we learned is Dr. Dolittle is the goat of doctors, but Dr.
Dr.
Albert.
Albatross is the goat of doctors.
Doctors,
Thank you so
exactly.
much, sir, for your
Thank
time
you.
and contribution
Thank
to
you.
the session. And of course, thanks to Dr. Albatross also for making this friendly visit to us. Thank you so much, Anushka, for your contribution to the session. And now let me give you quick updates regarding the sessions to follow. So here is the program schedule, and let me tell you that in a short while from now you can watch another session of ours that will be on social science, and the title is right there in front of you. It's about the empires, and rest of the sessions will follow. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. Namaskar.